Ah, how marvelous, or shall I say, how utterly Harry-esque, to stride back onto the English stage with not a pompous procession, but £1.1 million personal check and a selfie-ready grin, rather than a scepter or a splashy procession. The Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, for those inclined towards sobriquet, landed in Nottingham this week like a benign fugitive from celebrity's glitz, bearing a gesture more substantial than a royal wave, a heartfelt donation to BBC Children in Need aimed at bolstering grassroots youth organizations combating knife crime. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time with us.
The cameras wait at Heathrow gates, like the prodigal son come home. Helicopters circle high, pretend it's love, but it's just a show. They call his name with open arms, but twist the knife with every line. A father's door is always closed, yet they say it's the sparest crime. They cheer his work, then curse his name, rewrite the script.
Picture it. No gold-trimmed limousines, no choral fanfare. Just a man who once wore a uniform now, looking well taken care of, updated fashion, charisma like no other, and above all, authenticity. Wandering a community recording studio, listening, absorbing, committing hard currency toward young people's safety and creative potential. He called it a significant investment, a modest phrase for a grand gesture. Such a return begs for applause, not finger-wagging. Yet, what greets him from certain quarters of the British press is less appreciation, more acid rain, unleashed with all the grace of a trenchcoat-clad shark. Let us, then, pull back the curtain and expose the chasm between these two narratives.
Have you ever felt love where you sacrifice your feelings and burden it every tear and every feeling of bereavement? I got bipolar, so I rarely show my feelings, or I show them so much so they know every emotion that I'm feeling. And I guess that makes me vulnerable. And when I get to that stage, I feel uncomfortable. Sit and reminisce on some things that I can never change. That's when I think myself into a depressive state. I fell in love at a time I thought I never could. Infatuated by someone I thought I never would. I hope you know I'm trying to change for the greater good. This beat made Marion Robin Hood. I guess I got an old state of mind. We're thinking that feelings can always change over time. Attachment issues, man, I really still think your mind. Self-punishment, cause when I slip I'm treated like a crime. I used to always treat women as a distraction. Already think I like them just because there was attraction. Using women pain to boost my own satisfaction. And looking back I stayed disappointed by my actions. Told people about my condition and they think that I'm tapped. Pains when your mental state starts to hold you back. Holding back the tears, telling myself, man, I'm fine. Nah, everything's fine, but deep down, man, I've cracked. Losses after losses, man, I'm tired. At this point, I ain't living, I'm surviving. Subliminals, I know you see them when I'm writing. Deterioration, because I'm never normally like this. But there's times when my heart bleeds, exposing my love for you. Melodies on a calm beat. You're the person that I run to when I can't speak, cause you're the only person I know that will ever doubt me. Chilling and watching a film, man, it's the simple things. Burning sage cleansing crystals, man, it's the little things. I prayed for you, in a sense. Infatuated by your innocence. Times where we trolled over observations of my intellect, and we ain't never been that intimate. And I know outside this one we're intricate, but back then all I wanted was Elizabeth. Now all I'm wanting is this. Accepting the stigma was something that I'd always tried to dismiss. See, I don't ever want to jeopardize the bond we have, but every time you leave, something seems to pull me back. I ain't never perfect, things like that. But you deserve someone who you know will never crack. So you deserve the world and all its captivations, but I'll still send you through your day. I'm rooting for you when you're root to all your aspirations, while trying to heal my heart from all of its lacerations. Is I make sure you're okay and keep your favorite things. Checking on you when this become more than a thing. Since you're the only one with a source of understanding, and when I'm with you, I will never feel as though I'm acting. I can't work for you, or it got me so distracted. I got some thoughts in my head and they be so demanding. For the sake of this friendship, I swear I'll hold it down. So I'm just like someone else who's got to know you now. You say these women can't play with you, and you damn right, cause when it comes to highness, is you crown.
Okay, Paige.
Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man.
Crazy. What was that?
Nice.
Feel good?
Yeah.
Paige come here. Anybody, you either have to take out Paige or you're not good enough. You can come here right now. You come here 10 years ago. She will back up everybody in the building.
You gave me goosebumps.
Thank you.
Upon returning to the UK, his longest stay since the late Queen's passing, Harry took to his former stomping ground, Nottingham, and delivered with his own cheque to support vulnerable youths. Institutions like the Community Recording Studio, CRS, and Epic Partners were given renewed life, help in the form of hope and belonging. But while the Duke's cheque was generous, the tabloid columns were not. London's strata of newsprint, right-leaning rags, and red-penned tabloids saw fit to interpret a too-busy royal schedule as a snub, as though King Charles's refusal to pause his engagements overnight was some high-drama slight meant to embarrass Harry. Another faction of the press draped the visit in melodrama. Tube strikes delayed him because, of course, he no longer commands police convoys, and so we were assured his entire mission teetered on transport chaos, as if children's safety programs hinge on London transit punctuality. One editorial voice, perhaps seized by a bout of creative malice, dubbed him Duke of Delusion atop a front-page spendthrift fantasy. Snark was unleashed with the casual abandon of a caged tiger let loose in Trafalgar Square.
Back to back coverage, headlines collide. They want the sun, but not the bride.
Let me just tell you, you are in for the most spectacular evening. It will be inspiring, it will be emotional, and above all, this evening is about honouring the resilience, love, and joy that shine through even the hardest times. We are going to have an amazing night.
20 years, that's quite something. I still remember my very first World Child Awards 18 years ago. This night has been the highlight of my year ever since, and it's all because of you guys. These children, this cause, and our World Child community.
Genuinely, it is an absolute joy and a privilege to be here.
We've all witnessed firsthand the work that World Child does.
To our winners tonight, this is your moment. While we reflect on 20 years of these awards, the truth is that you are the story. You are the reason that we gather here. Keep fighting, keep smiling, and above all, keep showing us what strength, courage, and joy really look like.
At the 20th Annual Well Child Awards, a charity event in London honoring seriously ill children and their families, Prince Harry reinvigorated his long-standing role as patron with warmth, empathy, and touchingly personal remarks. Harry's speech resonated with both genuine emotion and an unmistakable connection to parenthood. He acknowledged the cumulative challenges faced by families with seriously ill children and the toll they endure. Persistent challenges that he and the world have both grappled with. Drawing on his own experience as a father, he described how becoming a parent had profoundly deepened his empathy. Everything changes once you have children, a line delivered with sincerity that was palpably felt in the room. He lauded the award recipients as beacons of hope and inspiration, voicing heartfelt gratitude to caregivers whose devotion mirrors everyday heroism. Lightness punctuated the evening, too. Engaging with a vibrant 9-year-old recipient, Gwen Foster, Harry wielded balloon swords in a playful mock fencing duel, an endearing display of whimsy and delight that charmed attendees. The event carried added emotional weight. It also marked the 3rd anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's passing. Earlier that day, Harry paid a quiet tribute by laying flowers at her resting place in Windsor's St. George's Chapel. Not missing the opportunity for a gentle quip amid inherent family tensions, Harry touched on the delicate nature of sibling relationships, referencing challenging dynamics, an allusion seemingly tinged with a knowing nod to his estranged brother. Picture this. A man returns, not with gilded regalia or brazen pageantry, but with a heart laid bare, kneeling alongside families facing unimaginable trials, greeting them with balloon swords and heartfelt admiration. That is not royal shtick, that is alchemy. Behold, Prince Harry, the patron, the father, transformed, speaking of parenthood not in platitudes, but with the weight of lived truth. And while tabloids scuttle in search of scandal, this man stands amid courage incarnate, calling those children beacons of hope, and in doing so, imparting a lesson far more luminous than any headline could hope to conjure. Harry's return and benevolence are not new chapters. They are continuations in a book where he has long tried to script his own narrative despite being battered by a tabloid chorus. He has accused the UK media of caricaturing him mercilessly, from playboy prince to thicko, cheat, underage drinker, and in some, the finale of a relentless downward spiral enabled by headlines he never asked for. He has called that press culture devilry, claiming that certain members of his own family have, for the sake of image rehabilitation, cozied up to it, a Faustian bargain maintained at the cost of human decency. He has said, with quiet bitterness, that this toxic environment forced him to step back to save his mental health and to become a man less subjected to the press's toxic glare, and he's won his legal fights, forcing Murdoch's tabloids to apologize for phone hacking and intrusion, victories paid not just in damages, but in dignity and acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Now let us wax lyrical, or more precisely lacerate with levity and lampoon, with the solemnity of a man who sees the absurd in our vaunted institutions. Picture me, in a tweed jacket that's seen better parliaments, addressing you across the mic. Dear listeners, here arrives a prince bearing neither crown nor coronet, but a check large enough to make headlines for the right reasons, and yet somehow the British tabloid press still finds a way to paint it as another chapter in the Sussex self-aggrandizement opus. They would have you believe that charity is a veneer and generosity a stunt. Only a malign fusion of cynicism and commercialism could produce such a narrative.
They want the sun, but not the bride. Come back home, but leave her behind.
After surveying the week's harvest from Britain's television circus, one truth is impossible to ignore. The British media is no longer covering Harry and Meghan. It is feeding on them. Channel 5's Vanessa gave us the absurdity of middle-aged pundits dipping crackers in honey and swirling rosé in the studio, not to appreciate food, but to ridicule Meghan Markle's product line. They even launched a new series, Brand Meghan, Is She Worth It? A program dedicated solely to mocking her brand week after week. Imagine the pathological obsession it takes for a nation's broadcasters to design an entire format around deriding a woman's jam. Good Morning Britain offered no relief, twice over. In the first round, the panelists rehashed family feuds, ridiculed Harry's book, and branded him King Rat. Never mind that the man had spent the night before comforting sick children at the Well Child Awards. In the second, he donates £1.1 million of his own money to a children's charity, a staggering act of generosity, And somehow this, too, is twisted into a PR stunt. Only in this media ecosystem could kindness be weaponized against the giver. On the Jeremy Vine show, the schizophrenia was on full display. Nina Miskow dared to say the quiet part aloud, that Harry and Meghan were hounded out by a toxic press machine targeted daily with 2 negative headlines before breakfast. And yet, in the same breath, another guest reduced it all to Meghan's persuasion and Harry's therapy speak, as though love and self-care were sinister cults. The British media cannot admit the truth without immediately smearing it over with the old tropes, because the business model demands the scapegoat. And then there was Talk TV, where Kevin O'Sullivan and his companion, souls seemingly leased to malice, performed their nightly ritual of spite. They derided Harry's security concerns, mocked Meghan's products as mundane, and declared her brand doomed. Meanwhile, the Duchy of Cornwall's jams are exalted as heritage. The hypocrisy drips thicker than marmalade. They insist her business will fail, yet depend on her name to fill airtime. It is not commentary, it is addiction disguised as journalism. Thread these together, and the pattern is unmistakable. Britain's media industrial complex has built an entire economy around one couple. Meghan cooks, they sneer. Harry donates, they scoff. They comfort children, the press digs for scandal. 8 years on, the campaign has hardened into pathology, a ritual humiliation staged daily for profit. They cannot quit Meghan because they need her. They cannot praise Harry because his decency shames them, and so they circle endlessly like carrion crows over the same battlefield, mistaking scavenging for substance. The tragedy is not Harry and Meghan, who continue to live, love, and work despite it all. The tragedy is Britain's press, once capable of speaking truth to power, now reduced to jeering at a jar of jam. A nation that builds television shows around persecuting one woman is not defending tradition, it is advertising its own decline. May I just say that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan, make me proud. I was about to wrap up and just saw this, highlighting pioneering work at Imperial College London's Centre for Blast Injury Studies, September 2025. The Duke of Sussex returned to Imperial College London for his 3rd engagement with the Centre for Blast Injury Studies to learn more about their pioneering focus on pediatric blast and crush injuries. The visit began with a laboratory tour inside the Sir Michael Urine Hub, where the Duke was met by Imperial College President Professor Hugh Brady, representatives from Save the Children, and Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO. Researchers demonstrated the latest innovations in point-of-wounding care, prosthetics for child amputees, and rehabilitation technologies. From early-stage research into the mechanics of blast injuries to the use of robotics and gait analysis to improve recovery, the Duke saw firsthand how science and medicine are being applied to maximize learning for conflict and disaster zones. Spotlight on children in conflict. The center's focus on children is rooted in the Pediatric Blast Injury Partnership, PBIP, established in 2017 by Imperial College and Save the Children. What began as a pioneering workshop has since grown into a global collaboration, delivering practical resources, including the Pediatric Blast Injury Field Manual, now used by frontline responders in conflict zones. In 2023, this work expanded further with the launch of the Center for Pediatric Blast Injury Studies, bringing together medics, engineers, humanitarians, and policymakers to address the unique challenges children face when injured by explosive weapons. Roundtable on Gaza and Global Action. Following the lab tour, the Duke joined a roundtable discussion alongside representatives from Imperial, Save the Children, and WHO. The session explored the urgent realities facing children in Gaza and beyond, with a particular focus on medical evacuation, mental health, and long-term rehabilitation. Participants included Dr. Tedros, who has been a leading advocate for increasing child medical evacuations from Gaza, and Save the Children staff who shared frontline experiences. Becky Platt, a pediatric nurse who recently worked in Gaza, spoke movingly about the children she treated and the ongoing need for mental health support alongside physical care. Other contributions highlighted new data from the Blast Injuries Report and the ways in which Save the Children and WHO are advocating globally for children's rights to treatment and recovery. Continuing the commitment. In his closing remarks, the Duke praised the collaboration between Imperial, Save the Children, and WHO, and the progress made since he first opened the center in 2013. Every time I return here, I'm struck by the commitment, innovation, and compassion that drives your work. From the labs I opened over a decade ago to today's focus on prosthetics for children, the progress and dedication are extraordinary. The voices we heard today remind us that behind every dataset is a child in pain, in need of care, and deserving of a future. The Duke's long-standing engagement with the Center for Blast Injury Studies reflects his commitment to those affected by conflict and to ensuring that children receive the care, dignity, and support they need to rebuild their lives. Today, the Duke, together with the Duchess and the Archewell Foundation, announced 3 grants in support of this ongoing important work. One grant for the Imperial College London Centre for Blast Injury Studies will go toward developing prostheses for children, particularly those in Gaza and Ukraine. Another grant to the World Health Organization to kickstart their upcoming fundraising campaign and will be used to support medical evacuations from Gaza to Jordan. A third for Save the Children to provide ongoing humanitarian support in Gaza. No single organization can solve this alone, the Duke stated. Gaza now has the highest density of child amputees in the world and in modern history. It takes partnerships across government, science, medicine, humanitarian response, and advocacy to ensure children survive and can recover after blast injuries.
On behalf of the Royal Court of Majesty Sussex, we would like to say thank you to our benefactors: Matilda Adesunloy, Black Pearl, Lydia Everkais, T.C.C. Sun, Jennifer Clark, Callie Jen, Josie. Your generosity is much appreciated. They keep the candles burning. May your blessings be multiplied many times over. Thank you.
The Guardian is reporting the following. Prince Harry met King Charles at Clarence House on Wednesday, their first face-to-face meeting for 19 months. The private tea in London, which lasted 54 minutes, comes after the Duke of Sussex publicly expressed hopes of a reconciliation with his family in an interview with the BBC in May. Harry was driven through the gates on Wednesday afternoon after an earlier engagement at the Centre for Blast Injury Studies at Imperial College, London. The 40-year-old arrived at Clarence House in a black Range Rover at 5:20 p.m. and left at 6:14 p.m. before an engagement later on Wednesday evening. Asked how his father was after arriving at the Invictus reception at the Gherkin in London, Harry replied, "Yes, he's great, thank you." At the reception, where he met sponsors and supporters, the Duke gave a speech and began by joking about his long journey across the capital due to the tube strikes. I think this whole thing has been delayed slightly, so at this point, you're all hammered, which was part of the plan all along, stuck up here at the top of the gherkin, he said. The king, who is still undergoing treatment for cancer, arrived in London from Balmoral, Aberdeenshire, on Wednesday, the penultimate day of his youngest son's 4-day trip to the UK.
Well, a very busy, a very structured, a very eventful trip. Prince Harry got a lot accomplished. We will continue to pray for the Sussexes. And that's it, my beautiful people. Thank you very much. You're all awesome. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones until we speak again. Bye for now. Mwah.
The cameras wait at Heathrow gates like the prodigal son come home. Helicopters circle high, pretend it's love, but it's just a show. They call his name with open arms, but twist the knife with every line. A father's door is always closed, yet they say it's the sparrow's crime. They cheer his work, then curse his name, rewrite the script, it's all the same. A circus dressed as royal news, drama's the crown they always choose. Back-to-back coverage, headlines collide. They want the son, but not the bride. Come back home, but leave her behind. It's madness on the daily grind. Back-to-back coverage, stories they spin. They can't forgive what they can't pin. A family man, but they still deny. It's love they fear and truth they hide. Trusted now. If he speaks, they twist the vow while the brother rests on holiday. He works, but they still disallow